Welcome to today's video. Today, we're diving into the life of one of the most remarkable emperors of ancient Rome. Known Marcus Aurelius for his wisdom, humility, and Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius' legacy goes far beyond the battlefield. Let's uncover his incredible story and the life lessons we can all learn from him. Despite being the head of the Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius lived a simple and humble life. In fact, he slept on the ground until his mother insisted. He upgraded to sleeping on an animal skin. Even as an emperor, his lifestyle was a reflection of his Stoic beliefs. At a time when the Roman Empire faced economic difficulty and the looming threat of barbarian invasions, Marcus Aurelius made a choice unlike any other emperor before him. Instead of raising taxes on an already struggling population, he sold off the empire's treasures, the statues, robes, jewels. He used the funds from these sales to defend the empire, but that wasn't the end of his contribution. Marcus Aurelius wasn't the type to sit back in the safety of a palace while others fought for him. He went to war himself, taking his son along with him. Marcus Aurelius died in a military camp, fighting alongside his soldiers. His legacy as a warrior and a leader didn't end there. One of his generals even betrayed him by spreading rumors of his death, but Marcus Aurelius, ever the philosopher, wanted to forgive him. Unfortunately, the soldiers loyal to Marcus Aurelius had already taken matters into their own hands. They brought the traitor's head to Marcus Aurelius as a gift, the ancient version of chocolates. Marcus Aurelius' life wasn't just about battles and politics. He was deeply influenced by Stoicism, which shaped how he approached his duties as emperor. In his personal writings, similar to those of Marcus Aurelius reflected on how to live as a philosopher, even amid the turmoil of empire. Now, let's take a look at some of the most profound thoughts Marcus Aurelius left behind, lessons that we can all apply to improve our daily lives. Lesson 10. When you're disappointed by someone, ask yourself, can you imagine a world where no one ever disappoints? Lesson 10 introduces a key concept of Stoic philosophy, accepting life's imperfections. When you're disappointed by someone, the natural reaction is often frustration, anger, or even a sense of betrayal. But the narrator urges us to pause and ask an important question. Can you imagine a world where no one ever disappoints? This question forces us to confront the reality of human nature. People make mistakes, some act selfishly, and not everyone will live up to our expectations. Stoicism teaches that instead of railing against this fact, we should accept it. After all, it's unrealistic to think that everyone will act in a way that pleases or benefits us. Disappointment is a natural part of life, and it's bound to happen because humans are flawed and imperfect. He suggests that rather than trying to control others or prevent disappointment, we should accept that some people will develop bad personalities or behave deceitfully. Just like rain or storms are inevitable in nature, encountering difficult or hurtful people is part of the human experience. Complaining about it, the narrator argues, won't change the fact that these individuals exist. What we can control is how we respond to them. By shifting our perspective in this way, Stoicism helps us reduce emotional distress. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Or why is this person treating me unfairly? We acknowledge that disappointment is an unavoidable aspect of life. We don't waste energy wishing for an impossible world where no one ever disappoints us. Instead, we become more resilient by accepting the world as it is and focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions. Ultimately, he is urging us to let go of unrealistic expectations and embrace the inevitability of imperfection in others. By doing this, we can find peace amidst life's challenges and strengthen our ability to face future disappointments with grace. Lesson 9. Never blame others. The idea of taking personal responsibility for your reactions, drawing inspiration from the way Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, handled challenges. If Marcus Aurelius was hurt during a sparring session, he didn't rush to blame his opponent or assume they had bad intentions. Instead, he avoided unnecessary judgment, much like how you'd push aside a thorny bramble on a path without getting upset or assuming it was placed there to hurt you. This philosophy aligns with Stoic teachings, emphasizing that most of the harm we feel doesn't come from the actions of others, but from our own interpretations and assumptions about their motives. Marcus Aurelius understood this and lived by the principle of not attributing malice where there was none. He recognized that most people don't deliberately set out to harm us, and therefore blaming others is often an overreaction. The bramble metaphor highlights that obstacle, like people who hurt us unintentionally, are a natural part of life. Just as you wouldn't get angry at a plant for being in your way, you shouldn't get upset at others for things beyond their control or for minor unintended harm. Most of the time, people aren't trying to hurt us. They're simply acting based on their own needs, experiences, or limitations. By not blaming others and accepting life's challenges without attributing malice, we can maintain emotional balance and avoid unnecessary conflict. It's about focusing on what we can control, our own responses, rather than getting caught up in assumptions about others' intentions. Lesson 8. You can't die early. Marcus Aurelius' Stoic perspective on death, encouraging us to shift our focus from the fear of dying early to living fully in the present. The idea is that worrying about death is futile because the past is already gone, and the future has yet to come, neither of which belong to us in the moment. The only thing we truly possess is the present. When you die, you don't lose the past because it has already happened and cannot be changed. Similarly, you don't lose the future because it's something you never truly had in the first place. So, whether someone dies at 20, 50, or 90 years old, the only thing they lose is the moment they are currently living in, the present. This teaching emphasizes that the amount of time we live is irrelevant when viewed from this perspective. What truly matters is how we live our present moments. Instead of being consumed by the fear of death or fixating on how long we might live, the Stoics suggest we focus on making the most of the time we have now. By freeing ourselves from the fear of death, we can avoid letting it dominate our thoughts and actions. This mindset helps us to live more bravely, to be more engaged with life, and to avoid letting anxieties about the future prevent us from enjoying the present. In this way, the Stoic approach teaches us that death is not something to dread, but something to accept as a natural part of life. Ultimately, the fear of death only takes away from the life we are meant to live now. Lesson 7. We often seek peace by going to the beach or the mountains. The teaching challenges us the common belief that peace and tranquility can only be found in external places like the beach, the mountains, or the countryside. While these serene environments may offer a temporary escape from the stress of daily life, Stoic philosophy teaches us that true peace comes from within. You don't need to rely on your physical surroundings to find calmness. You have the power to create it internally. The key message here is that you are responsible for your own thoughts. External situations and environments are often beyond your control, but your inner state is something you can manage. The idea is that peace isn't about avoiding chaotic or stressful circumstances, but about how you respond to them. By mastering your mind and emotions, you can create a sense of calm and stability, no matter where you are. Stoics believe in the practice of self-reflection and withdrawal into one's own thoughts as a form of mental retreat. Rather than physically traveling to distant places to clear your mind, you can do so by turning inward. Through this practice, you can achieve a deep sense of peace by quieting your thoughts and focusing on what's within your control. This inward journey requires no movement, only introspection and mindfulness. The ability to find peace within yourself, regardless of external circumstances, is empowering. It means that even in the busiest city or the most challenging situation, you have the capacity to find calm and clarity by retreating into your own mind. Ultimately, this lesson reminds us that peace is not a place. It's a state of mind that we can cultivate wherever we are, simply by focusing on our thoughts and taking control of our inner world. Lesson 6. The soul is invincible. The teaching emphasizes a core tenet of Stoicism, that the soul is inherently invincible, meaning nothing can truly harm it unless we allow it to be affected by our judgments. The soul, in this context, refers to our inner self, our character, our mind, and our emotional state. According to Stoic philosophy, external events do not inherently cause us pain. Rather, it is our perception and judgment of those events that lead to suffering. Imagine encountering a setback in life, whether it's losing a job, experiencing a personal betrayal, or facing a financial crisis. These events in themselves do not harm the soul. What causes pain is how we interpret them. If we see these events as tragedies, misfortunes, or personal failures, then we allow them to affect our inner peace. However, if we accept them as part of life, inevitable occurrences outside of our control, the soul remains unshaken. By accepting life's misfortunes as natural and inevitable, you cultivate resilience. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather embracing them without letting them damage your inner self. The more you practice this acceptance, the more invincible your soul becomes. For example, when faced with adversity, instead of reacting with frustration or sadness, a Stoic approach would be to acknowledge the event as something beyond your control and shift your focus to how you respond. This teaching is about reframing. When a situation arises that could potentially upset or hurt you, you have the choice to interpret it differently. If you refuse to label it as something that can harm your soul, then it loses its power over you. Your emotions, therefore, are not dictated by the external world, but by how you perceive and process events internally. Ultimately, by recognizing that only your judgments and reactions can affect the soul, you take control of your emotional well-being. The Stoics believed that by mastering this mindset, you can maintain inner strength, clarity, and peace, no matter what life throws your way. Lesson 5. Forget your good deeds. The emphasis is on the importance of selflessness and the idea of performing good acts without seeking recognition or reward. This teaching encourages a mindset where the act of doing good is its own reward, rather than a means to an end. When you perform a good deed, whether it's helping someone in need, volunteering your time, or simply being kind to others, there are typically 3 common responses people have regarding their good actions. The first is to broadcast these deeds, seeking praise or validation from others. The second is to keep their good actions private, but still hope for some form of acknowledgement or return. The third, and most Stoic approach, is to act without the expectation of anything in return and to let go of the deed as soon as it's done. The underlying principle here is detachment. When you hold on to your good deeds, thinking about them, hoping for recognition, or feeling disappointed when your efforts go unnoticed, you risk becoming frustrated and bitter. This can diminish the joy and fulfillment that should come from helping others. Instead, the Stoic perspective encourages you to approach good deeds with the same naturalness as a tree bearing fruit. Just as a tree doesn't crave praise for its apples, you shouldn't seek acknowledgement for your kindness. The act of doing good should be about the benefit to others and the intrinsic value of kindness rather than what you might gain from it. Moreover, forgetting your good deeds fosters a sense of humility. It allows you to act genuinely and with compassion, without the ego that often accompanies a desire for recognition. By letting go of the need for validation, you create space for more altruistic actions and cultivate a purer intention behind your deeds. In essence, forgetting your good deeds is about focusing on the act of kindness itself rather than the accolades it might bring. It encourages a continuous cycle of selfless action, leading to a more fulfilling and connected life, ultimately reinforcing the Stoic ideal of living virtuously for the sake of virtue itself. Lesson 4. All is opinion. The focus is on the Stoic belief that our perceptions and interpretations of events shape our experiences of reality, including pain and suffering. This teaching emphasizes that pain, both emotional and physical, only exists because we assign meaning to it. The core idea here is that reality itself is neutral. It's our thoughts and opinions about that reality that color our experience. For instance, when faced with a challenging situation, one person might see it as a devastating setback, while another could perceive it as an opportunity for growth. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in the interpretation placed upon it. Stoicism teaches that we have the power to control our reactions and judgments. When we encounter pain or adversity, we often have a choice. We can view it as an overwhelming obstacle or as a temporary challenge that we can learn from. By reframing our perspectives and recognizing that our suffering stems from our opinions rather than the events themselves, we can diminish the hold that pain has on us. For example, if you experience a setback at work, instead of viewing it as a personal failure, consider it an opportunity to reassess your approach or develop resilience. This shift in thinking allows you to reduce the emotional weight of the situation and focus on constructive actions rather than getting bogged down in despair. The idea that pain exists only if you allow it emphasizes personal responsibility for one's emotions. Stoics believed that individuals are often the architects of their suffering. By changing the narrative you tell yourself about pain, you can lessen its impact. Moreover, this lesson encourages self-awareness. By recognizing how much of your emotional experience is dictated by your opinions, you can start to identify and challenge unhelpful thoughts and beliefs. It's an invitation to cultivate a more rational and objective mindset, which can lead to greater emotional resilience. Ultimately, Lesson 4 teaches that by embracing the Stoic idea that all is opinion, you can liberate yourself from unnecessary suffering. This perspective empowers you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of agency, fostering a more balanced and tranquil existence, regardless of external circumstances. Lesson 3. Be mindful of your thoughts emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and integrity in our internal dialogue. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius suggests that we should only entertain thoughts that we would be comfortable admitting to others. This principle encourages us to cultivate a more honest and thoughtful mindset. At its core, this lesson underscores the idea that our thoughts shape our actions, decisions, and ultimately our character. When we engage in negative or harmful thinking, such as envy, anger, or self-pity, we create a dissonance between our inner world and our external behavior. This can lead to internal conflict and feelings of guilt or shame. By reflecting on the nature of our thoughts, we can strive to align them with our values and principles. To practice this mindfulness, consider the following steps. Self-reflection. Regularly take time to examine your thoughts. What are you thinking about most often? Are these thoughts constructive and aligned with your values? If not, challenge them. Accountability. Imagine that your thoughts are being shared publicly. Would you feel proud or embarrassed? This can serve as a useful filter to help you identify thoughts that don't serve your well-being or integrity. Reframe negative thoughts. When you catch yourself having thoughts that you wouldn't want to admit, work to reframe them. For instance, if you find yourself thinking harshly about someone, try to consider their perspective or the struggles they might be facing. Focus on the present. Often, negative thoughts are rooted in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Practicing mindfulness can help you anchor your thoughts in the present moment, where you have the most control. Cultivate positive thoughts. Deliberately cultivate thoughts that uplift and inspire you. This could include gratitude, hope, and aspirations for personal growth. By adhering to the principle of only thinking what you would openly admit, you create a habit of honesty and integrity that not only enriches your inner life, but also influences how you interact with the world around you. This practice helps to eliminate self-deception and encourages a more authentic way of living, ultimately leading to a more fulfilling and peaceful existence. In essence, Lesson 3 invites us to take charge of our thoughts, aligning them with our true selves and fostering a mindset that supports our goals and values, paving the way for a life grounded in authenticity and purpose. Lesson 2. Value your own opinion more than others. Focuses on the significance of self-worth and self-judgment in our lives. In a world saturated with external influences, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from others rather than trusting our own judgment. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that prioritizing our opinions fosters confidence and clarity in decision-making. At its core, this lesson encourages us to cultivate a strong sense of self and recognize that we are our own best advocates. Here are key aspects to consider. Self-acceptance. Understanding and accepting your strengths, weaknesses, and values forms the foundation of valuing your own opinion. When you embrace your true self, you become less reliant on others for validation. This self-acceptance empowers you to make choices that align with your authentic self. Critical thinking. Engaging in self-reflection and critical thinking helps clarify your beliefs and opinions. Rather than accepting societal norms or peer pressure, take the time to analyze situations based on your values and insights. This practice enhances your decision-making skills and fosters personal growth. Boundary setting. Valuing your own opinion allows you to set healthy boundaries with others. When you prioritize your perspective, you become less swayed by negative influences or toxic relationships. This fosters healthier interactions and promotes emotional well-being. Confidence building. Trusting your own judgment instills confidence. When faced with difficult decisions, lean on your insights and instincts rather than seeking approval from others. This self-reliance encourages resilience and adaptability, essential traits in navigating life's challenges. Empowerment through authenticity. Valuing your own opinion leads to a more authentic life. When you align your actions with your beliefs, you cultivate a sense of fulfillment and purpose. This authenticity resonates with others, attracting relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Overcoming fear of judgment. Often, fear of criticism from others hinders us from expressing our thoughts and opinions. By valuing your own perspective, you can navigate this fear, recognizing that not everyone will agree with you. This acceptance liberates you from the need for universal approval. In summary, Lesson 2 encourages individuals to prioritize their own opinions over others. By fostering self-acceptance, critical thinking, and confidence, we can cultivate a more authentic and empowered life. Embracing our insights enables us to navigate challenges with clarity and purpose, leading to deeper connections with ourselves and others. Ultimately, this lesson highlights the importance of self-worth in creating a fulfilling life grounded in authenticity and personal truth. Lesson 1. Remember that you will die, serves as a profound reminder of our mortality and the impermanence of life. This lesson encourages us to confront the reality of death, prompting a deeper appreciation for the present moment and a more meaningful engagement with our lives. Here are the key elements of this powerful lesson. Acceptance of mortality. Acknowledging that death is an inevitable part of life can be daunting, but it's also liberating. By accepting our mortality, we free ourselves from the trivial worries and distractions that often consume our daily lives. This acceptance fosters a sense of urgency to live authentically and purposefully. Focus on the present. The awareness of death serves as a catalyst to focus on the present moment. When we recognize that our time is limited, we become more intentional in our actions and decisions. This mindfulness allows us to appreciate the beauty and significance of each day, encouraging us to engage deeply with our experiences. Prioritizing values. Reflecting on death prompts us to evaluate our priorities and values. It encourages us to consider what truly matters in our lives: relationships, personal growth, and meaningful contributions to the world. By aligning our actions with these values, we can live more fulfilling and impactful lives. Encouragement to act justly. The awareness of mortality also motivates us to act justly and ethically. Understanding that our time is limited encourages us to treat others with kindness, compassion, and respect. It fosters a sense of responsibility to leave a positive legacy, impacting the lives of those around us. Reducing fear and anxiety. By contemplating death, we can diminish the fear and anxiety associated with it. Instead of viewing death as a terrifying end, we can embrace it as a natural part of existence. This shift in perspective allows us to confront our fears and live more courageously. Embracing impermanence. Recognizing that we will be forgotten in time encourages us to focus on the legacy we wish to leave. Instead of striving for fame or recognition, we can prioritize meaningful interactions and positive contributions to the world. This perspective fosters humility and gratitude for the time we have. In essence, Lesson 1 serves as a powerful call to mindfulness and intentionality. By remembering our mortality, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for life, prioritize what truly matters, and engage in actions that align with our values. This lesson not only encourages us to live with purpose, but also fosters resilience in the face of life's uncertainties. Ultimately, the awareness of death enriches our experiences, urging us to act justly and meaningfully while we still have the opportunity. Marcus Aurelius. Life may have been filled with challenges, but through his wisdom and Stoic mindset, he left us with powerful lessons that still resonate today. From accepting life's difficulties to valuing our own inner peace, Marcus Aurelius' teachings remind us of the strength we all hold within ourselves. If you found value in these timeless lessons, take a moment to hit that like button. It helps more people discover this powerful content and supports the channel. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories and wisdom from history's greatest minds. Join our community on this journey of self-improvement and personal growth. Remember, Challenges will come, but with the right mindset, we can overcome them all. See you in the next video, and as always, keep growing, keep learning.